Worlds of fantasy and chaos. Behind every boss battle, cutscene, and cinematic, voices shape the experience. One commands with wit and grit. The other, a voice of twisted menace and unshakable resolve. From epic quest to post-apocalyptic wasteland, these voices leave their mark with every line. The voices driving the games you play and the stories you never forget. Welcome to the stage, Pamela Dougherty and Derick Snow.
Just, from you guys obviously do a tremendous job in the world of anime. Video game voice acting, I feel like, has got some different nuances, especially nowadays. Nowadays, motion capture is a big part of it. But as far as just even the basics when it comes to anime versus video games, what's the biggest difference between the two genres, if you will, as far as how maybe you prepare for a role, how you prepare to go into the booth and present your characters?
We don't. It's almost impossible to prepare because, and that's the truth for anime as well. We don't know what the script is going to be until we walk in the room. It's all very, very closely guarded. And that holds, for me, it's held true for video games as well. For me, I think the biggest difference is that you're still a part of a narrative scene when you're doing an anime or an animation project, a story or a movie or whatever. Whereas with video games, you have specific kinds of usually it's attack, retreat, or go this way or go that way, or you have failed, or
There's so many different genres for video games, particularly say we're doing a video game that's based on an anime. Say I've done My Hero Academia. There was a One's Justice 2. I voiced a character named Mimic. He's the little money man for the Shiisekai. He's like a little tiny bonus character that pops up and starts screaming and fighting. So you'll do fight reactions, high, mid, large punch, getting punched in 3-4 different ways. There's also games that there's a game called Smite. I voiced 3 or 4 different characters. My stupidest one was a character called the Crab Brave Kipri, where he's super memey and they're playing that Crab Brave song. It's so stupid, but it's great. I had a great time. But yeah, in those, so sometimes for anime-based things, you're still matching flaps, even if it's a game, because it could have already been recorded in Japanese. So you're still seeing the screen and a script. So that's kind of the trick with the anime and sometimes those games. With other games, say, I was also in a game called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, where I was this weird little gremlin named Snack, and it's just the script that you get and a picture of the character and maybe, if you're lucky, of a reference that they might bring up the director before the event, maybe in this zone or genre. And so for those, you're not having to match or hit any timing, so you can just either go as fast or as scene-chewingly slow as you like. If you're not fighting one of those little characters that's going getting hit or whatever. And then there's other games that I love to voice. There's these romantic games where people try to romance you, and I've been unnamed in a couple of spicy ones. Those are really fun. But those you just wax on poetical, for a long time reading those slow scripts about how I really like you. Those are fun.
It's gonna click for someone here in a minute.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
You'll recognize me. I'm not gonna say.
Pam, what about you? Do you prefer, doing, I guess, anime where you're doing a lot of lip matching, or do you sort of prefer the organicness, if you will, of bringing a character to life on your own?
Yeah, I'm fine with both, actually. I spent last year, not constantly, but off and on, doing a character in a game called Black Desert Online. Has anybody heard of that? It's a Korean-based, and the Korean art is so different from what we see as anime, from Japanese art. And the interesting thing about this one was that I was in North Texas, the director was in LA, and the creator was in Seoul, Korea. So we were spread out by thousands and thousands of miles, but we were still all working
All linked up together magically through the studio.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you all prefer to work like together closely, or do you not mind the satellite connectivity?
We have to do it that way.
Sure.
That's all there is to it. You don't go into a room with 2 or 3 other people ever, unless they're doing something called Walla, which is where you have a group of people going.
Occasionally, like you're talking about, like motion capture. Sometimes they will slap us in a room. And we have like a special little microphone that they put on, and they're doing like a performance face capture, and it's closer to what you would call Walla. But sometimes they will have us in the room to, if we're, say, I don't want to spoil, because these projects. Sometimes when we're working on, it could be like 2 years from now what I'm even talking about. But like, just imagine something like Planet of the Apes, like when you're in all these crazy suits and there's like 4 people and we're choreographing our movements around props that don't exist, but also still acting for this little microphone that's in front of you. It's amazing technology, but yeah, that's about the only time in a video game that I've been in a room with more than one person.
Well, even from a broader perspective outside of video games, like if you're working with an ensemble cast, even though with, anime per se, you're doing a lot of lip matching and that kind of stuff, for voiceover work, is it just something you've gotten used to, I guess, over the years with just being solo, or is that a personal preference that, you'd either rather be solo or work with others? Especially you coming from like a more of a traditional background in acting.
Well, and you'll find that a lot of us, I would say easily 75 to 80% of voiceover actors come from a stage background. We come from a trained professional classical theater background. I certainly did. And in order to call myself a professional actor, these days I have to do everything. I narrate audiobooks, I do television, I do film, I do political radio. I know.
Yeah, we're all doing ads for stuff. The real money is, this is like a different tale, but like the real money in voiceover is commercials.
Yeah, yeah.
It pays real good, but there's no glory in that. So yeah, you're doing a million different strange things for like, hey, the new T-Mobile has got a great new app. Or some YouTube, one of those awful, never-ending YouTube like ads that pop up. Oh boy, it pays.
Yeah. It's true. Unless you hit something big like, Allstate or something. But even then, like...
Yeah, then do you get too famous you can only do the Allstates?
Exactly. And then
it's a pretty good gig getting a forever national commercial. Those are great. National commercials are great. These magical things called residuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love a good residual.
Do each of you have like a residual that's like such a small amount of money that you're just like, why even?
It costs more to put that on to mail this sometimes like 18-cent check from like some episode of Scrubs I did 25 years ago. Yeah, amazing.
I get the Walker Texas Ranger.
Oh, wow.
18 cents.
Nice.
But then 3 weeks ago, I got a $9,000 residual from a film I'd done called Suncoast with Woody Harrelson and Laura Linney. And I was blown away. But I'd had 3 weeks on that shoot, so that made it a quantifiable thing. And then now that was the gross. And then when I opened up and saw the net, it was significantly less. And then after my agent got it and got her 10%, it was even less.
Yeah, this is why we have to do so many gigs.
Yeah.
We're enabled by, even to go to these conventions I have, and I've got an agent for so many different things. Because if we just tried to book everything ourselves, which is possible, I submit myself and I work with lots of studios independently, but like, we lean hard on those people, but they take a percentage of everything. It never stops.
Like children, other mouths to feed.
And then, and you also don't want to end up like, debt or tax prison, so we get to keep track of all of our our tax guys, they're keeping track for us and also taking a bit off the top there.
Yep, they just want more and more and more every year. Come on. So, how long have you guys been doing the Comic-Con circuit? I mean, is this fairly new? Like, kind of a new endeavor?
It's new. I've been doing anime recording since the late '90s, and it wasn't until I got a Funko Pop for Big Mom.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They finally started calling me in. I've got 3 now, and the rumors about another one, but I don't know. But that's what broke it for me. Just spent my entire career in anime, just going into the studio and record. And I had good roles.
Oh, yeah.
It was the pop that made the difference.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, those pop collectors are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I think I started, my first convention was, well, I had booked my first convention just before the pandemic, and then those all canceled, and then, or let's say reshuffled and rescheduled. And so I think I started mine once the world started opening back up around that time. That was my first convention. And I was, I had already been doing it for, let's see, I think my first anime was in 2014, I think. So it had been like 6 years before my first convention. I didn't even really have that on my radar because I'd seen people, but I was like, I don't know why anybody would want
I want to do that crazy
And
stuff.
then, I think Fire Force was the first thing that really kind of pushed me over the edge. I mean, I had already been working on One Piece with some, smaller characters, and then I was doing a Nezumi, the mousy marine, and then Big News Morgan's. But he's got no pops, but he's got figures and stuff. There is some ruminations of some really fun Chainsaw Man stuff because I voiced this shark-based character Beam for the Reze film that's coming out in October. And whenever people start talking about pops, all I think about is, I can make a house payment. But I keep that to myself.
When somebody told me about Funko Pops, I had to look them up. I had no idea what they were.
Well, they're like bobbleheads. No.
Yeah.
Are they freezer snacks? What are they? Yeah.
They're perfectly affordable. That's what I love about them.
They're Beanie Babies of the 21st century.
Yes. That is probably the greatest comparison I've ever heard of that. Yeah, definitely Beanie Babies of the new.
You can dust a Funko Pop box, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to vacuum a Beanie Baby.
Don't get it wet or anything like that unless it's in a one of those plastic cases over top of the case, which is even more like, what? I don't believe.
But I think one of the reasons I even got into voiceover just so I could, or not voiceover, specifically for anime, was so I could have just more toys of things. And my room, I have one room in my house just set aside for all my nerdy anime stuff, and it's like a hoarder's dream in there. It's amazing. Layers and layers, beautiful lighting though. And everywhere else it's classy because my wife lives in the rest of the house.
That's the way it works, right? Pam, what about you? Do you have like a room in your house that's devoted to your characters and your career, the breadth of your career?
No.
No? Okay.
I used to have a wall of my theater pictures. But it's funny that kind of diminished once we really got into digital photography. And then the next place I moved after I moved away from Dallas. I'm in Fort Worth now, and there was no room in the next place that I lived, and so I ended up at one point taking all of the pictures out of the frames, and I still have no place to put them. But I've got a couple of things that I've put up, but or put out. Mostly art that other people have done and handed to me or whatever.
People have made incredible things.
Yeah.
They make art for you and then sign it and give it to you.
Isn't that neat?
Which is fun, yeah.
It's an interesting interaction being able to go to conventions and like share in the love of something that I worked on in the studio. I didn't memorize it, right? We got over the scripts, we did it, I loved it. Maybe a couple of years go by, and then like it starts picking up crazy, and then I start memorizing everything just because people start talking to me, and I don't want to feel like a nerd about, like an idiot about it. And so then we can really start sharing about how it has affected them from a performance that I did. It's just fascinating and very humbling. It's super cool. And then people bring in they've made plush little buddies of things that I've been in, and it's just very squeezably happy. I like that stuff.
Is that one of the more heartwarming interactions you've had on the Comic-Con circuit as far as meeting fans? What's maybe one of the most memorable? Not necessarily heartwarming. I mean, it could be funny. It could be, just most memorable, whatever. But in doing this, your travels have taken you all over the country. I assume all over the world as well.
Anywhere that speaks English.
Yes.
Particularly for anime.
Yeah.
Nobody wants me in Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, any memorable interactions with fans that have stuck out that you'll take with you?
Mine happened just a couple of cons ago.
Oh, yeah?
It was a con called Amazing Art Expo, and it's a traveling con that is mostly art focused. A lot of Star Wars, some anime, a lot of horror, a lot of different. Like one of my favorite pieces of art that I always see is at this particular con is the stormtroopers fly fishing in a river. And there's another one where Yoda and Kermit are like sitting in the river smoking a joint. But my most memorable experience was at one of these, and this little girl came up. She couldn't have been more than 8 or 9, and she was like, "Mom, it's Big Mom, Mommy, it's Big Mom, it's Big Mom, it's Big Mom." She was completely freaked out. Didn't know. She hadn't expected it, and so then up rolls her mom with walking a toddler and then a baby in a carriage. And she's going, "Oh, Mommy, Big Mom, I want something Big Mom." Well, I had been talking to a lady who'd come up before this little group who didn't know anything about anime, didn't know anything about, she just came for the Star Wars art. And so we were chatting about anime and what it meant, this, that, and the other. And then this little interaction happened. And the little girl was just going over every single picture that I have and what did I have, this, that, and the other. And then this lady, who didn't know anything about anime, said, "Well, I don't really have anybody to buy anything for, so let me buy a picture for your daughter. Which one would you like?" And we were going, I mean, it was exactly that kind of a heartwarming thing.
I love that.
And it was really nice. And she picked a metallic, they're more expensive than just the straight things. But this lady was just so kind to do that. And
It's absolutely amazing, getting to engage with people in a sincere way at, say, my booth or my table. It's just, I was just, I was saying earlier, you get to, explore and celebrate a property together. It's just a very personal expression of that at my little table. Or, sometimes if I'm lucky, after a panel, somebody will come up and you just have a little chat. That's great. And another interesting thing is we as voice actors, about doing conventions, is we don't necessarily get to share real-world space with the people that we share scenes with.
Sure.
There's a show, it's not super popular, but it's great, I loved it, is an anime called Delico's Nursery, where he's like a vampire, and there's some amazing actors on that show, and there's this amazing actor named John Bergmeyer. You'll have to Google him. He's great. He's old school amazing. But he's like the third lead on that show. And I had never gotten to work with him, but we're like this, almost the same height. We have almost the same face. When we saw each other in the real world, it was like, what is happening? And that only could happen thanks to the magic of weird convention times after the show or whatever. You get to decompress, or occasionally. Me and some other voice actors will occasionally get together, have pizza, or go play soccer. Or something nearby, the youngins, those young voice actors that are all young and stuff. But yeah, good times.
Oh, good times. Speaking of good times, I want to keep them rolling and extend the invitation out to you in the audience to ask questions. So my friend Lauren is going to be walking around with a microphone. If you do have a question, I ask that you raise your hand. Lauren will come around with a microphone. We'll start over here, and then we'll work our way, I guess, across the room. And then we'll basically just ask you to stand up. So stand up and tell us your name, where you're from, and pose your questions. Make sure you're speaking nice and loud and clear so we can get the volume up here.
Hello.
Is this on? First question. There should be a little switch in the front.
Okay. Hello, I'm Cameron Jeffcoat.
Cameron?
I'm local from Central South Carolina.
Okay.
And I was kind of wondering about like location. When it comes to voice acting, since it's not about necessarily being in a physical place, I was wondering how often have you heard of like voice actors that aren't necessarily near any of the hot spots like California or Texas? Or is that really uncommon?
So yeah, the question is, as far as voice acting, obviously we talked about kind of Dallas, Fort Worth, that being area. How often do you hear of some of these other voice actors not in that location? Is that about the gist of it?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised, there are local studios regionally everywhere. And if anime-specific kind of stuff is what you're interested in, there are the occasional people like your AJ Beckles that started out, not local, but had a great studio, local studio, and he kind of like there's occasional times, particularly during the pandemic, when a lot of the stuff went studio anywhere, and they opened the gates, and also it opened up the West Coast for me from Texas for some stuff in New York. These days, I have my own home studio still. I do about 40% from my home studio, and then not necessarily anime. I do a lot of commercial work. I do audiobooks. There's so many different genres of voiceover, and it doesn't matter where you live for necessarily commercial work, necessarily for audiobooks, as long as you've got the technology, like basically, you need high-speed internet, but that's getting easier and easier in 2025. Mm-hmm. A good microphone, there's a particular setup that you need, but you can start without spending a crazy amount of money. What I did initially, whenever I was starting to get into voiceover for commercial stuff, I got a good USB mic for auditions. And so I auditioned from home, and then they would book me for a studio. And that's cool. For anime in particular, I literally put North Texas in my sights because I understood that at the time Funimation, now Crunchyroll, generally record local. And they have a couple of studios. If you live in Los Angeles, there's a studio, and then there's a studio up in North Texas. So like if that is specifically your game, I would aim for trying to find a way to be local for that. Mm-hmm. But for other projects, I mean, the sky's the limit from your own home. There's a great website from the voice actor D. Bradley Baker. It's called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. And he has these, it's kind of an old school website, but my gosh, when I was getting started, it had every step that I needed to make sure that I had my demo, because the demo is important. Getting an agent is important, depending on your genre. Some people that work in anime, they don't go through an agent like at Crunchyroll per se, but I have a couple of different agents. Aim to get a really good demo reel, sell it for things, and yeah, there's so many ways to do it from wherever you live. And there's local studios for so many different kinds of projects. Mm-hmm. And I cold called and was emailing just every studio with my demo wherever I lived, and you'd be surprised how that actually worked pretty well.
All right, great question. Thank you. All right, next we'll come right over here. The lady in pink, please.
Lady in pink. Just really quick question. My daughter's 14 and she's interested in becoming a voice actor.
Okay, your daughter's 14 and she's interested in becoming a voice actress.
As a parent, what can I do to help her get into that field, being in South Carolina where we can't exactly relocate to Texas?
Okay.
Get acting lessons.
Get acting lessons.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking about being in theater. Theater is a great, finding ways to work and deal with a script to create context. Getting, particularly if she's interested, it was your daughter, right? Yeah. Particularly interested in anime or something like that, reading is vitally important. Cold reading, learning how to do that with if you take, there's classes everywhere on how to deal with that kind of stuff. There's online things. Yeah. Do you have any?
There's a voice actress who lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. Her name is Lisa Biggs, Biggs, and she actually talks like this. She has this really, really high, sweet little voice, and she does a whole lot of. She does Nickelodeon, she does commercials, she does cartoons, all sorts of stuff that's kid-based voice. Now she's a grown-up, and I do not know if she teaches. I just know she makes 6 figures a year doing child voices, and she might be worth looking into just because of the proximity.
And I will say, if you think your voice might change in the near future, work on the process. Don't necessarily, if you're going to get cast and get stuck with a 14-year-old voice, it might be a bit of a struggle. So, because as you get older, you're going to be stuck having to try to strain to play that high voice. Whatever you do, just try to have fun acting. Have fun doing it. Don't if you're going to try to make a career at 14, it's going to be depressing. Find ways to have fun with it. When I got into community theater as around 12, 13, I mean, gosh, that was just the best time of my life. Just interacting with my fellow actors, on the stage or even behind the scenes, during rehearsals. God, that was just some of my favorite times.
And the thing too about, it used to be that books on tape and audiobooks, all of this kind of thing used to be narrated by DJs who had these great big deep voices, and they weren't really actors. And what's happening is that slowly but surely over the last, I'd say 10 or 15 years, especially with audiobooks, you just got to have the classical acting training because people don't want to just hear a voice anymore. They want to hear a human being who is relatable, who you can understand and empathize with. That kind of thing.
And I would also say that there's so many YouTube channels if you're interested in going down not exactly fandom route, but there's so many different channels that do animated projects, and they post casting notices constantly out there. There's different places to find that. There used to, Schwitter used to be. I think it's still got some great places where they post casting notices about how to, you just start auditioning. The only way to do it is just to start doing it, find out if you're good at it or not. Yeah. Don't spend too much money. Don't let these acting courses, there's no guarantee of getting cast in anything. If you do take classes, and if they say, we will cast, you will book stuff, no, you won't. There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
So if they say that, watch out. There's lots of shady acting coaches. If John Casablanca wants to make you a model / voiceover actor, it's not happening. They're just looking to take your money for classes.
Well, and mentioning community theater, that's a real
Oh, by the way, don't
good.
sue me, John Casablanca. You're great.
I think community theater is a great way to invest in that world without spending any money, because you're not going to get paid to do community theater. But there's lots of children's programs out there that are so worth. Your university theaters will have them. Any of your union equity theaters will have professional children's theater programs, and that's such a good basis, I think.
Yeah. Wow, great advice. Thank you. Thank you both for that. Let's move on. I think we got another question. We'll come over here, and then we'll hit you in the B stripes, we'll call it. So.
We've got some great cosplay out here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me pretty well?
Yes.
Well, I'm Kylan. I'm from Whitmire, South Carolina.
Okay.
And I had a question for both of you about voice acting. I've been doing different stage play performances. I've done video game acting, fan-made animes for a couple of years now. But I want to actually get a little bit further than where I'm at. So I guess the question here for both of you would be, for starters, should I look more towards the video game track or the anime track as far as voice acting goes? And for either of those, what connections would you recommend to really go past that threshold of just doing small time stuff?
I don't think you would. I would never recommend somebody say, okay, I'm going to go this way.
If you're only picking one, you're denying yourself the chance for
Yeah.
success.
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to find your strong suits. Like, if you feel like, because there's things that I can't do. Like, there's a lot of performance capture. Generally, you've got to be like 5'9". I'm 5'5". I'm too short. For like the general voice motion capture stuff. But some taller people are great at, like, if you've got a great physicality about it. I mean, if you are serious about wanting to get in, you've got to, I mean, I know people that go to LA and try. You go for 6 months, and either you make it or you don't. And most 9.9 times out of 10, you don't. Mm-hmm. Like, the actor's game is mostly no. You audition, no. Like, on a good day, on the best possible track you're gonna do, 9 auditions you do, you're not gonna get those. Your 10th one, you'll get a call back. There's no guarantee after that. I mean, you may not even, you never, like, if you don't get cast, nobody tells you. You just don't get it. You just move on. Yeah. So, like, I succeeded and way failed on so many fronts in the acting. Where I've been acting, you've been acting for longer than I have, but I've been doing, I did theater, I toured national tours with, like, there's a show, Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby, I toured with for a number of years, physically, very exhausting show. And then once that came over, I injured myself, and then I didn't have the work, because actors always got to be working, because there's no insurance. Yeah. Generally.
Well, yeah. It depends on whether it's a union.
Yeah, even if you are in a union, you have to be actively working and putting into the stipends and funds and stuff. And when I lived out in LA, I was doing on camera and I was booking stuff. But, like, cost of living is crazy. So you're always having to give compromises. I'm going to spend $2,000 to sleep next to a couch because it's in Burbank. And that's right where the work is, like in like Los Angeles. And I did that, and I got edited out of so many things. I was in an episode of a great show, House, that I got totally edited out of. I did the scene, but if you're not in it, you don't make the final, like, you just get the shooting day and not the residuals of being on the show. Or, like, I ended up a little bit in a show called Scrubs, but I did a whole scenes in that thing, and then once again I got recast on the day because the director's best friend showed up on set. Uh-oh. They'd already shot my scenes, and then they reshot some more stuff, and then but they put me back in like a glorified walk-in, walk-on role with a little bit of a bit. And same thing with Desperate Housewives. So many things. As an actor, you're never guaranteed, even if you record, if you even make the cut. Mm-hmm. So to say you're only going to do it, you're gonna try to do all of it. Whatever you think you succeed in, like, really the thing that makes it work is getting a great reel. Like, you've done stuff, right? If you've got a great reel, just keep yes-anding until one of them sticks. Like, this anime thing just kind of magically stuck whenever I managed to book a bigger project and I didn't mess it up. I think there's so many shows that I did early on. My first show was Mike McFarlane, the amazing director, cast me in a show called Noreen, which wasn't a huge show, but I didn't screw it up. And so then I kept working on some other stuff. There was a show called Dance with Devils, which is like a sexy J-pop show. It's not huge, but I killed it with the director. And then I kept working. But I was doing, musical theater and tours, and that was working until, I needed to pay a little bit more rent. But yeah, just keep up what you're doing, man.
I want to take one more question, and then we're going to have to wrap things up. So my friend here in the B stripes, that's about the best way I can describe it.
Hey, I'm Austin. I'm from West Columbia, and I got to
Bring your mic maybe a half inch closer to your face. A little closer to your face.
Sorry,
yeah,
there you go.
If Shinra and Big Mom got into a fight, who would win?
What was it?
If Shinra and Big Mama got into a fight,
a fight.
Shinra's my little buddy, my fire boy, my devil in Fire Force.
Oh,
Big Mom.
She-Ra. That was like.
That's his sister.
If there was a fight, who would win?
What's Big Mama's special skills? I mean,
Yeah.
she's pretty awesome.
She's the strongest of the emperors.
Yeah.
Yeah, strongest of the
Yeah.
emperors. She could delegate a lot of people to
Yeah.
get right in Shinra's way.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
said, Shinra can control time-space. He can move like a million miles in a second on a good day. He's got to really get into it. He's got to get his hands just
Yeah,
right.
but-
And he's got to do a couple of monologues about heroism after he gets knocked down about 6 or 7 times. But if Mama gets him right in the beginning, it's over.
Yeah.
If
I
she
mean-
gives him about 12 minutes to think about things, Shinra might have a chance.
Yeah. But, I mean, Big Mom's 29 feet tall, so.
Shinra might be a god. Oilers.
Place your bets, right? There you go. Before we wrap things up, do you guys have any?
Musical interlude.
No.
I love that. I love that. All those songs. Oh, amazing.
Before we wrap things up, do you guys have any big projects you're working on? Anything you want to promote to our friends in attendance here?
The biggest one I'm working on right now, I've got an NDA, so I can't talk
okay.
about it. So.
Okay.
There's always something magical we can't talk about.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But upcoming stuff that I can talk about. Fire Force Season 3 continues on in January of next year. Blue Lock continues on TBA. Windbreaker, there's another season. I voice a character named Choji Tomiyama. He's one of my favorites. Another season's on the way. TBA announcement, I think. Did I say Chainsaw Man already?
I think so.
Okay, that's October. I voice Beam, the Shark Fiend. That's going to be amazing. So much screaming. Have we been working on stuff already? I'm not going to tell you.
Oh.
That's not an NDA.
Detective Conan is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
It's, how can I say this? If I remember correctly, it's going to be like a best hits, greatest hits.
Greatest hits.
So it's not going to be every single episode, but bringing back some of the most important characters and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
yeah. Weird shows. Tomodachi Game. And I'm sorry. A Toilet Bound Hanuko Kun. There's a character I voice. He's the Grim Reaper, and I've been having a great time with him. He's so sexy. He's the sexiest character I've ever voiced. He's great. And on the same days I'm doing that, there's a show called With You and the Rain. It's a kind of a new, cute little slice of life anime. And I'm a tanuki, and I don't talk. All I do is make little dog sounds for like 2 hours a day. And it's delightful. You got to watch it. It gives me cute aggression. Anyway.
Well, it's been delightful to have you both up on stage. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
for Pamela
everybody.
Dougherty
I
and Derick
appreciate
Snow.
you.
They'll be back at their booths, of course, through the course of the weekend, signing pictures, doing all that. Obviously, check the schedules, make sure they're not grabbing lunch, what have you. Coming up here in about 15 minutes, the original Hollywood Rebel, Randy Quaid, special guest interviewer, his wife. That's going to be a lot of fun. So that'll take place here in about 15 minutes. So thank you all once again. Again, give him another round of applause.
I appreciate you all. Hey, would you mind coming up here,
Yeah.
kind of gathering behind this stage so we can take a
let's
selfie
do
with
that.
you clustered behind us? I would appreciate that if you want. I'm going to stand right here, and then we're going to take a nice little selfie with you guys behind me. Is that okay? Come on up. Come on up, nice humans. I'm going to make you do my bidding.
I was going to say, it doesn't count unless there's a selfie, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, because
I wonder if it would be better if they turned that way and we were behind.
is there a... So how would they see us?
You won't be able to see us well.
Well, I would be doing this.
Oh, okay.
selfie arm.
Yeah, you got a good selfie on.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to walk any further.
There we go. Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, let me wipe my schmutz off.
There we go.
Here we go. All right. If you can see yourself, make sure we're in the shot. Yeah.
All right, everybody
I
ready?
see you.
1, 2, 3.
Yay. Fuzzy
Excellent.
pickles. Thank you, everybody.
Great job.
I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
everybody. I'll take that. Thank you so much. You both were
you.
tremendous.